Hi everyone, welcome to Pearl's Kitchen. If you like my video, give it a thumbs up, press the red button to subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so that you will be notified for my upcoming videos. It's absolutely free. Thank you very much. Remember, it always seems impossible till it's done. So let us ask God to make the impossible possible. Amen. Today it's going to be Christmas special. So today I'm going to show you how to make duck roast. That's my favorite. And I'm also going to show you how to make orange sauce and gooseberry and lime preserve that complements the duck very well. And I'm also going to show you how to make fluffy, crispy roast potatoes and carrot and Swede mash. And I'm also going to show you how to make creamed Brussels sprouts and not to forget Pearl's most popular and famous Yorkshire puddings. So there's lots going on today. So let's get cooking. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is cook the duck because that will take the longest. So here in this tray I've got a 2-kilo duck and I've got one orange that I've cut into 4. I've used a mandarin, and I've got 1 lemon that I've also cut into 4, and I've got 3 pieces of cinnamon. I've got 2 twigs of rosemary from my garden, and we need a tray and with a mesh on the top preferably so the duck can sit in there and then all the juices fall down. We'll also need paprika and we'll need some salt, and here I've made a glaze of honey and orange. So I've put 2 tablespoons of orange in there and 1 tablespoon of honey. So but that we'll use later, and that's the giblets from the duck, and that also we'll use later. I'll show you. Okay, the first thing what we're going to do is either take a fork and prick the duck or take a knife and cut slits into it. So take a nice sharp knife and just keep making slits into it. Only deep enough to cut the skin, not the meat. And then just go crisscross. So you like have a sort of diamond cut. Now keep doing this same way to the other side. Okay, that's our duck done. I've made slits. I've even made some on the thighs. So now we're going to start filling it. So just keep putting all these oranges and lemon in there, and then put 1 twig and 2 cinnamon sticks, and another one. Take some salt and put some salt inside, and that's it. That's done. Now you need to seal it up, so that's why I have this toothpick. So you just seal that. Push that in. My toothpick is broken. Anyway, that's done. And now you take a piece of string, hold the legs together, and just tie the legs as tight as you can. And that's your duck stuffed. So that's very easy. Now all we need to do is take salt, quite a lot of salt, and just rub the salt all over the duck. You can turn the duck. It's like you're massaging a little baby. Okay, and then take some paprika and not a lot of paprika. That's it. Okay, now that our duck is stuffed and seasoned, now this needs to be roasted in a preheated oven. I preheated my oven 20 minutes ago on 200 degrees. So we're going to roast this breast side down. So lift this duck up and put this on the rack. We did put some more salt. Now this goes in the oven for 1 hour, and I'll show you what we do after an hour. In total, this duck has to be cooked for 2 hours. So for the first hour, we'll cook on the 200 degrees gas oven. So I'm going to put this in now, and then we'll carry on with the other ingredients. Okay, we're going to do this step by step. So while the duck is cooking in the oven, we're going to carry on the rest of the things. I'm going to make the Yorkshire pudding batter first, because that needs to rest in the fridge. If you can make it the previous evening, that's even better, because being Christmas, you need to do all the prep beforehand. I'm going to make this now so it can rest in the fridge for an hour. So the ingredients for the Yorkshire pudding: I've got 200 grams of plain flour, 200 ml of milk, and I've got 4 eggs, and we'll need a pinch of salt. So this is very, very easy. This is the way I do it. I just mix the milk in the egg and just whisk it. Once all the yolk is mixed, you put a pinch of salt in there. 2 pinches of salt. Mix that, and that's it now. You just mix all the flour and mix all that together. Keep mixing it. The Yorkshire pudding needs to be on the runny side, so you can see I've got some water here. So that's around 3 tablespoons of water I've put in there, and that's all you need. So once it's mixed nicely, you just transfer this into a jug, so it'll be easy to pour in when you're going to bake the Yorkshire pudding. So I'm just going to put it in here. And now this is going to chill in the fridge for at least an hour. Okay, now that the Yorkshire pudding is chilling in the fridge, we'll carry on with the next stage, and that's going to be carrot and swede mash. So here are the ingredients. This is very simple. I've already cut them in cubes. So I had a medium-sized swede, and I had 3 medium carrots, which I peeled and chopped into cubes. And we'll need around 500 ml of water. So you just put it all in there. You need to see if it needs more water. It needs at least 1.5 inches above the carrot and swede. So once you've put that in there, you put it on the gas and put the gas on. And now you wait for it to boil. As soon as it starts boiling, you put the lid on and then let it simmer for at least 30 to 35 minutes, or until very tender. Okay, while we're waiting for the swede and carrot mash to come to a boil, we're going to get on with the other ingredients of the gooseberry and lime preserve. So these are the ingredients. We'll need a saucepan to cook it in, and I've got 1 can of gooseberries. You could use fresh if you want. After draining the juice from the can, I'm left with around 150 grams of gooseberries, to which I'll add a 1/4 cup of sugar, 1 tablespoon of honey, and we'll need 2 limes. Now we need to grate the limes with the skin on. So just take a grater and just keep grating both the limes with the skin on. Okay, now that my lime's already been grated, if you find it difficult to grate the whole lime, then whatever's left over, just finely chop it. So now we're going to put the gooseberries, put the grated lime, put all the sugar, and put 1 heaped teaspoon of honey. And this, trust me, this goes so well with the with the duck. So now you put the gas on and you stir this, and then the sugar will start melting. And as soon as it starts bubbling, you put it on a simmer, in a lower heat, and let it simmer. And now let this cook till everything is soft in there, or let it cook for between 10 to 12 minutes, stirring occasionally. And you can see now that's coming to a boil. So I'm going to put the lid on there, and I'm going to put it on simmer. So that's the carrot and Swede is also cooking at the same time. So keep stirring this for 10 to 15 minutes until it thickens up, until all the gooseberry and the lime's all soft. Okay, my gooseberry and lime has been cooking. The sugar melted and cooked off the lime and gooseberry. It's all nice and soft. I cooked it for around 11 to 12 minutes. And now lastly, you just take a knob of butter and stir that butter in. Put the gas off and stir that butter in. And that's your gooseberry and lime preserve ready. Now this you can keep aside. You could make this like 1 or 2 days earlier, but whenever you're making duck, you make this with it. It's really good, and it's eaten. You can just give it in a blast in the microwave before it goes onto the table, or you can eat it cold. So you just empty it out into a bowl. You don't need to make a lot, because just you give a tablespoon on each plate, on the plate when you serve the duck. So that's your gooseberry and lime preserve ready. Okay, our gooseberry and lime is done, and the Swede and carrot is still boiling away. I've just checked, that's doing great. Now I'm going to show you how to make creamed baked Brussels sprouts. So in the frying pan, I've got 1 tablespoon of olive oil and 1 teaspoon of butter. And here I've got in the water soaking. I've peeled it and chopped the ends off, and whole Brussels sprouts, and that's 500 grams. And here I've got 1 onion, 1 finely chopped garlic, 1 bay leaf. I've got 150 grams of bacon, smoked bacon that I fried earlier on. You can get them ready fried, or because it's Christmas, you do all the preparations before. So I fried this yesterday. And I've got 30 grams of hazelnuts and 25 grams of almond here, whole almonds. And I've got 1/4 cup of wine, and I've got zest of half a lemon. And here we'll need salt and pepper, and I've got 250 mils of cream, and I've got 30 grams of Parmesan cheese and 30 grams of breadcrumbs. These are the Brussels sprouts ingredients. So we go on to the first thing we're going to do is put the gas on for the Brussels sprouts and wait for the water to boil. As soon as the water starts boiling, you see 3 minutes, not more than 3 minutes, and that needs to be drained after that. And and I've put this on as well, so to let it get hot a bit. You put oil and butter so it doesn't burn. So you can just put the onions in there. And then now you need to cook the onions and the garlic. You don't need to brown them, they just need to sweat a bit. So this should take around 5 minutes. I haven't put the garlic yet, because I'll put the garlic in a couple of minutes. Okay, I'm going to put the garlic now and the bay leaf, and fry that for a minute. Garlic won't need a lot. And then I'm going to put the hazelnut and the almonds and fry that in the onions. The gas up a bit. Okay, now you add the bacon. You could make this without the bacon, if you want to. Now let the bacon and the nuts cook on a low flame for 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, my Brussels have had 3 minutes in the boiling water. So you just drain off all the Brussels sprouts. And the bacon and the nuts have been cooking for 3 minutes as well. So now you add all the Brussels sprouts in here. And then put the lemon zest. And now let this fry for at least 3 minutes in the bacon. Okay, now that the Brussels sprouts been frying in the bacon and the nuts, we need to add the wine. Wine's optional as well. People who don't drink, they don't need to put it. And then make sure the gas is on slow, on lower heat, and then you add all the cream. Keep stirring it, and now you add the salt and pepper. Quite a lot of pepper and salt to taste. Remember, this bacon's salty, so don't put too much. Okay, now let this bubble away on a medium flame for at least 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, now that the cream and the wine and the Brussels have been cooking, you remove the bay leaf. So you don't need the bay leaf. And now you take a baking dish, put that off, and you put it in a baking dish. This is so delicious. My children normally don't eat Brussels sprouts, but I make it this way and they love it. And now you're going to just top it up with the breadcrumbs. Sprinkle all the breadcrumbs on it. And then top it up with the parmesan. Okay, now this is just prep work. You don't need to put this in the oven yet, because like I said, you can prepare all this the day before. This needs to go in the oven for only between 20 to 25 minutes. So you can put it when the potatoes are ready to come out. When the potatoes are like 25 minutes away to come out, then you put this. So I'm going to put this aside now, let it rest for a while. Okay, now my Brussels sprout is ready and prepared. The gooseberry is done. Now my duck's just come out of the oven, had its 1 hour. So what you're going to do is now, you're going to lift up the rack with the duck in it and put it separate. And now is the time to collect all the fat that's come out of the duck, because I'll use this for the roast potatoes. Okay, so you collect all that in here. Okay, now that I've collected the duck fat and the gravy, so that's very handy, we'll keep that aside. And now in the same tray, you put the giblets in there. Don't put the liver because it's bitterish. And then add a glass full of water. And then you bring the duck back here. Now you can see it's still on its breast. Now we'll start basting it now. Glazing it, I mean. So now this is the honey and orange glaze. So while it's on its back, we can glaze the back. And because this has to cook for another hour on the other side. Okay. So now I just try Try and be very quick. It's hot. Be careful. And there you go. Okay. And now we start glazing it with the honey and orange all around. Put some in there so it can dribble inside. There you go. So now this goes back into the oven for another hour. And then, or now put the gas, it was on 200, now put the gas on 180 for another hour. Okay, the duck's gone back in the oven, and now I've drained off the Swede and carrots. So now we're going to mash it. So you have to mash it while it's nice and hot. Okay. Take a masher. That's why you have to make sure it's nice and soft. In between you can stop and mix, put some mixed herbs, say a quarter teaspoon of mixed herb and some pepper and salt to taste. Say around a teaspoon of salt, and then now keep mashing it again so it mixes all the herbs and salt and pepper. And then you add the butter. I've got 2 tablespoons of butter here. You could put less if you want, but I like my mash quite buttery. And as soon as you put the butter, it mashes even better. And that's it. Now I'm going to empty this on a bowl, and then I'm going to show you what to do with it. There you go. I've emptied out the carrot and Swede mash into a baking dish. So because this can also go in the oven to heat up when the rest of the food is about to get ready. And all you need is just take a little bit of paprika and put a little bit of paprika on the top. And there you go. Like the Brussels sprouts, keep this also aside. Okay, now that our carrot and Swede mash is ready, we can get on with our potatoes. In here I've got 1 kilo of potatoes that I've peeled and cut into quarters and covered it with water. This needs to come to a boil. As soon as it boils, just see 8 minutes, and that needs to come off because I'll show you what to do with it. But in the meantime, when the duck went into the oven for the last hour, I forgot to tell you, every 20 minutes we need to baste it. So I'm going to take it out now, and the duck fat that we collected, I'm going to baste it with that. Okay, the gravy and the duck fat that I collected, just keep basting it. I keep doing this every 20 minutes, and I'm going to put that back into the oven now. Okay, the potatoes I've just drained off after 8 minutes, and now you just put the lid back on and just hold it and give it a good shake. Okay, and that's how it should look like, nice and fluffy. And when they're nice and fluffy, while the potatoes were boiling, you need to put the oven on. Luckily I've got 2 ovens, and put the tray also on in there, which I've already got. I've got the goose fat in here. I've got quarter cup of goose fat and quarter cup of ordinary oil. And now I'm going to put these potatoes in here. Be careful. So it's not goose fat, it's duck fat we're talking about. I've got goose fat in my head. So now you just put some salt. And then make sure it's all coated. I'll put that off. Okay, make sure the potatoes are all coated in the oil. And this will be the most fluffiest and crispy potatoes you can ever get. Okay, they're hot enough. Okay, in between you can turn them once more. But now they go in the oven for between 45 minutes to 1 hour. Okay, so they go back and the oven temperature is 200 degrees. Okay, the duck's looking good. Now I'm basting it again. Now this time I'm going to baste it with the juices that's in here. The giblet juices, so it gets flavor, it gets a good flavor. That's it. Now this goes back on, I think, for the last 20 minutes. Okay, the roast potatoes are in the oven. Now everything is coming together. Now we're going to make the sauce because I've collected the gravy from the duck. That's the bottom bit. I've separated the fat from the duck and used it for the roast potatoes. Now take a saucepan, and in there I put 1 tablespoon of the duck fat and a knob of butter, like 1 teaspoon of butter. And put that gas on. And now you wait for the butter to melt. Okay, as soon as the butter starts melting, you add the flour. There's 1 tablespoon of plain flour in there. And then you just mix that with the butter. Let it fry for a minute or so. Put the gas down so it doesn't burn. Just fry it for a minute or so till the rawness goes. Should be done now, because it's only a tablespoon of flour. And now what you do is, in this duck gravy, you mix the orange juice. Now I've got 2 cups of orange juice in there, and now you start adding that in here, stirring all the time. So the flour doesn't become lumpy. Now you can put the gas up a bit. Now take a bay leaf and bung the bay leaf in there. So that 2 cups of orange juice is equivalent to 4 mandarins. And then that's the zest of the orange juice. That's the zest of 2 orange juices. So put that in there. And the zest of 1 lime. Put that in there as well. And then I've got 1 tablespoon of balsamic vinegar. Put that in there as well. Keep stirring, let it all come to a boil. And then I've got 3 tablespoons of sugar in here. So I put that here. Now let this come to a boil, and then let it simmer till the orange sauce gets nice and thick. Okay, the orange sauce is ready now. You can put that off and remove the bay leaf. And that's it. It's a bit runny at the moment, but that's all right because it rests and then it thickens up. So now just take a gravy boat and just pour this lovely orange gravy, orange sauce in this boat. So that's your orange sauce ready. Okay. Okay, our orange sauce is ready and the duck is also ready. I've just taken it out of the oven and it's cooked thoroughly. It looks lovely. And now you just take some tin foil and just let it rest so it will stay warm until we do the Yorkshire puddings. Okay, now that the duck is out of the oven and resting and my roast potatoes are still cooking, so I've put the Brussels sprouts to bake, needed 25 minutes. I've also put the Swede and carrot in the oven to heat up. And now we need to make the Yorkshire pudding last. And that's the batter just come out from the fridge. So it's chilled batter, and the Yorkshire pudding molds. The tray has to be in the oven, in a preheated oven with very smoking hot oil. So I put a teaspoon of oil in each Yorkshire pudding tray. And I'm going to take that out now. It's nice and hot. So we can start putting the That's the Yorkshire pudding molds. I always use this one. There's sentimental value for me because it belongs to my mother-in-law, and I get good Yorkshire puddings coming from here. Now from the jug, you take the jug and you have to work very quickly. See, you can hear it. Just keep topping it up. I always make a little extra because I make a little bit of a Yorkshire pudding, like a toad in a hole. So, okay, now you have to work this very quickly. Take both the trays. Do one at a time, actually. And you put that in the oven. And the oven's 200 degrees. And put the second one. And close the oven. Now don't touch this oven for at least between 20 to 25 minutes. You'll see when they're done. Okay, I've just taken the Brussels sprouts, baked Brussels sprout out of the oven, and they look lovely and they are done. They've had 25 minutes. So it's all coming together now. Just waiting for the Yorkshire puddings. Okay, while we're waiting for our Yorkshire puddings to get done, we're going to put the duck on the tray and put it on the dining table. Now you could decorate the tray before you put the duck on in any way. You could put lemons instead of oranges, but I've used pomegranate, orange, and some rosemary from the garden. So the duck has been resting. You just make sure it's still hot. So just do it very quickly. And there you go. Put it on the table. So now this lovely duck is going to go onto the table. Don't forget to cut the strings off the leg. I've already done it. And take out the toothpicks. Okay, our roast potatoes are just out of the oven. So we can put that also in the tray that's going onto in the dish that's going onto the table. You can hear the crunchiness. Okay, so that's also going onto the table. So now just be waiting for the Yorkshire pudding. Okay, our Yorkshire puddings have just come out. So they're all done now. You just try and loosen them a little bit and then just pick them up and put them onto your tray. So easy. That's it. It fell off. That's our full Christmas dinner ready. It looks delightful. Here is our lovely roasted duck, decorated around with oranges, pomegranate, and rosemary. And here's the carrot and Swede mash. Lovely, fluffy, crispy roast potatoes. Well risen Yorkshire pudding. And this is my cream baked Brussels sprouts. Really, really delicious. Some lovely orange sauce, and not to miss my gooseberry and lime. This is a must. This is so, so delicious. It complements the duck so well. So we had a lovely day cooking for everybody, for you all to see how it was done. Now, all that's left for me to do is to wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas. And I shall see you next time with some more delicious cooking. But until then, may God go with you and give you His peace.